Hi, teammates. This is Sean J. McCall, and I am your host for this edition of Let's Talk. And I'm going to get right to it. We've got Berlin's top sports dentist on the show for tonight. She'll be telling us about knocked out teeth, um, players that dodge regular checkups, and the biggest myths and crazy injuries that she's seen as a sports dentist. And we are going to get her right in so we can get started. Go now. LM, how you doing? So she should be popping up. Hopefully, no. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Hi,
Hello. Good evening.
good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Can you do me a quick favor and introduce yourself shortly, and then we're going to start right with it.
Yeah, hi. I'm Aylin and I work as a dentist and I'm specialized in sports dentistry. And I think that's why I'm here.
Yes. So I didn't know that there's actually, and I'm sure a lot of other people didn't know that there's an actual sports dentist as opposed to dentist. What are the differences between sports dentistry and normal dentistry?
Yeah, so sports dentistry, like normal dentists can do as well sports dentistry.
Mhm.
And it's just that you have an extra knowledge about the special needs of athletes. Yeah. For example, athletes demand a lot from their body. So a slight gum inflammation can have severe effects on them, like injury risk or recovery time can take
Wow.
longer. And also, like, they drink a lot of these acidic drinks
Mhm.
where a lot of electrolytes are in it, but also like energy, which like the drinks give them energy. There is a lot of sugar in it too,
Right.
but the pH level is very low, so it's acidic and it can harm the animal. So over the years, their animal can level can decrease, and so their bite. This can have an effect on their jaw joints. This can have an effect on their muscles, and the muscles are linked to each other. It can go to, through the shoulder muscles to the whole back muscles, and yeah, it can go on like that. It's like a
Wow.
chain. So you really have to look at it holistically and need to start at an early age with young athletes, teaching them how to use the drinks, how to take care of their teeth, how to take care of their gums as well. It's not about just brushing teeth, it's
Mhm.
also very important to floss, especially for athletes. Yeah, all these kind of things. And then, of course, mouse guards is a big topic.
Right.
And then what happens when an injury happens? Like a few weeks ago in Oklahoma, one of the basketball players lost three teeth. So what to do when this happens
Mhm.
is super, super important because you can save a lot of money and a lot of recovery time if you do the right steps, if you really go to a dentist who specialized in sports dentistry and know how to deal with all that.
Okay, so let's use this example in Oklahoma. That's a lot of teeth.
Yeah.
That's really a lot of teeth. Um, what would you do in that sentence in that situation when someone came to you and said, "Hey, our guy he just lost three teeth in a basketball game."
So
What would be your first
the
step?
the very important part here is that the team doctor already has some information. So what I want from the team docs I work with is that they have a tooth rescue box. So if a tooth falls out, they put it in the box, and in the box there are different kind of it's a mixture which helps the tooth to survive. And with that, they have time to come to my clinic, and then I can reimplant their own teeth back into their jaw and then splint them. And it perfectly works fine. So they don't need much money to get implants. They have their own teeth. They can like have directly their own teeth. Like they don't lose time. They can smile again. But what happened in Oklahoma was I watched the video several times. So the doc came. He had like gloves. He picked the teeth up but then gave him to another person, maybe he was an assistant or whatever. and he took them with their play with his plain hands, no gloves, no nothing.
Mhm.
So with that, you can already harm the structure
Wow.
of the teeth and can make it hard for them to be reimplanted and to be accepted by the body of the player again. So there it would be super, super important that the dog knows about these things, even if he's an orthopedist, like because this can happen often. It happens actually quite often.
Mhm.
So it's really important to react the right way or the best way to help the athlete the best way.
Well, I'm totally fascinated right now because, first of all, I had no idea that there was a box you could put the teeth in
Yeah,
to help save them.
yeah.
And I'm sure, I think I've never played for a team that had a dental box. Never, for sure not.
It's so important. Yeah, it's so important to have that. It's literally called uh, tooth rescue box. That's it. Like it's a little there's a little liquid in it. You just put the
Mhm.
teeth in it, and then it's you have time, and then you can even play the game to the end. No worries.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I never knew that. That's pretty interesting.
yeah.
So for you, um, I want to just go back to your story for a second. You took over your clinic in 2019.
Yes.
Um, Was that an incredibly stressful time for you? Because before you were just an employee and now you were taking over, it's your name, everything that goes with it. You probably changed the interior of the dentistry. So when you took over, was that an incredibly stressful time for you?
I mean, it was not incredibly stressful. It was stressful, but it was positive stress. I
Mhm,
really loved it,
mhm,
and it was so much fun too. And before I had my own office, I worked in several offices, and then I had a startup which I built with. And as I started with the startup, we were like 10 people, and as I left, we were like nearly 200. So I was kind of used to work in a atmosphere
mhm,
which is stressful, and I really like to be creative, and to yeah, be my own chef kind of thing.
mhm,
Yeah, to be my own boss, and because I always have so many ideas and I want to implement them really fast. So this
mhm.
was the best way for me. And yeah, it's stressful, but it's positive stress, I would say.
What made you specialize in sports dentistry? What was your connection to sport where you said, I think that's the way I need to kind of go?
I'm obsessed with sports. Like I grew up in a family where sports was the most important thing besides school. So my brother used to be a soccer player. I played handball.
Mhm,
And so it was always part of my life. And as I became a dentist, I was like, I need to make this still be a part of my work life too. And then I thought, I just want to specialize in sports dentistry. So I think I was one of the first ones here in Berlin. Everyone was first saying, what's that? And we don't need that. And why is it
mhm,
important? But I feel like more and more people now understand why it is important and
mhm.
want to get their specialization too in sports dentistry. So I'm super, super happy about that because I really think it's very important.
How can you imagine um, working with your first athlete? Let's say the first athlete that you said, okay, this is now that part of this sports dentistry, and now I have this degree, I have this diploma, and now I'm going to go a little bit more in this way. Do you remember your first sports client after you've gotten all your certifications where you said, okay, this is the first one?
I don't like it was kind of natural for me because I
Mhm.
was always so active in the sports field. Like I had already so many athletes coming into my
Right.
office. So there was no one point where it
Okay.
shifted or changed. I just wanted to be better in it and to
Mhm.
like dive more into the information and to really get like be one of the best to know everything. Like you never can know everything, but
Mhm.
I just did the specialization to have a better understanding for it, to dive deeper, and to be also connected to other sports dentists because this is super important that you work together. I had one athlete who came to me last summer, and he was in a clinic, and they said, okay, like we can't guarantee that you can ever play again, and it's very, very complicated, and we need to restructure your jaw, whatever. And then he came to my office and I said, no, we can get this done. Like, we will get this done and you won't miss a game. But this was a very complicated surgery that needed to be done. For this, it was so important that I did the sports dentistry class where I got connected to all the other dentists, because I knew there was one very good surgeon who was like in the south of Germany. So I reached out to him, and then I drove there with the athlete, and we did the surgery there all together. And yeah, he didn't miss a game. So I think in those cases, it's really important to find a specialist for it, and also to know where like your skills end and where you need assistance.
Right.
And I know like he's the best surgeon and there will be no other person who will do it better. So I did it with him. So yeah, this is also part of sports dentistry, that we work together, that we support each other, that we yeah, help our athletes no matter what. And sometimes they change, like the contracts are just for 6 months. So they're 6 months here and then 6 months somewhere else. And they're like, Aylin, do you know someone here? And then I can like say, oh yeah, a colleague from me is there and I know he's good too, or she's good too. Yeah. And therefore these kind of yeah, get together of dentists is important
The
too.
connection.
Yeah, the
Like you said.
connection. It's not
Um,
just the degree you get, it's the network you
mhm,
get access to. Yeah.
mhm. Um, just so I tell everyone, if anyone has a question for my guest, please throw it in the comment section. I see the first one and I'm going to read it right now. If you have any questions, throw it in there and I'll try to get them in as well. Ryak, I'm sorry, Nayak said, would you think acid drinks minimize sports stamina? Well,
Like what is meant with sports stamina,
fitness level.
fitness level? Um, I think if you should be careful with them. So it shouldn't be the only thing you drink, because acidic drinks are not good for your overall health.
Right.
Yeah, it changes the pH level, and also not for your teeth, as I explained. It's what I say to my athletes, like when you drink them during a game where you need like extra energy, that's okay, but it shouldn't be part of your everyday routine.
Right.
That's
And
just my suggestion,
do
recommendation.
you ever get like pushback from athletes that say, hey, this is what I've been doing my whole life? Because athletes are in general are very superstitious and they like their routines, the way they do it. Do you get like pushback like, nah, I like my drinks, I'm good?
Yeah, I think um, it's important that you trust the person you go to.
Mhm.
And you have to trust their experience. You have to trust what they say and just try it. And I always say, just try it first. And if it helps you, we keep on doing that. And if it doesn't help you, we get back. And the most important thing is what I've learned is I always give the advice as an off season. Like I don't want an athlete to change in the highest, like during playoff times. No, I don't want that, because even if I know that I'm right, it's really important that his head thinks that too, or her head thinks that too. So when I have a recommendation which changes a lot in his routine or her routine, I'm always saying like, we wait with that, keep on doing what you do, but in off season we will talk about that. And this is, I think, the better way to approach these kind of things.
Mhm. That makes sense, yeah. Who do you think is more resistant, female athletes or male athletes?
Um, I don't know. To be honest, I don't experience any difference in their behavior. Like
Mhm.
they really are open when they come to my office. They already heard about me, or they know me, and
Mhm.
they come to me and they trust me, and
Mhm.
they're open. So, and I think I'm an empathetic person. If I really sense that someone has their routine and they need time, I don't push things. I'm not saying this is the only way and it needs to be like that. I'm just putting in some ideas and step by step, because at the end we both want better performance and health. That's it.
Is there a common misconception what the connection between dental health and sports? Is there any misconception that's widely spread?
Um, so one thing is that for so many years, clubs didn't take care so much of dentists, and they
Mhm.
didn't hire a dentist, or they didn't have like dentist appointments scheduled for the athletes because they thought it's not important. I think this is a big interpretation of everything. And I mean, clubs think in numbers.
Right.
Yeah, that's what matter. Yeah. And they think, oh, it does, like, it won't be so expensive if we don't do a dental checkup or whatever, but it is. Like, one good example is in soccer, or we say football here in Germany. There was Mbappe, who plays for a very big team, Real Madrid, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, or maybe 1.5 weeks ago, he had to get a surgery of a wisdom tooth because it inflamed, and he couldn't train and he couldn't play. And this costs a club on
Money.
that level a lot. And imagine this would happen 4 weeks later. You never know when an inflamed wisdom tooth can make trouble. Imagine it happens 4 weeks later when they're in the um, like semifinals.
Mhm.
This would have a very big influence on their team, on the performance, whether they win or not, and of course on the numbers of the club.
Mhm.
So and I think more and more clubs are getting aware of that, and associations started to talk with dentists, or we have an association like the European Association for Sports Dentistry. We started to talk with the soccer associations, with the basketball associations, but there is like a change in mindset, but as always, it's not fast enough.
Mhm.
But we're getting there.
Mhm.
I'm thinking
Good
positive.
that you're pushing it because just in this conversation alone, I have to be honest. Like I'm totally blown away with what you're saying. And if you go to a club and you introduce yourself and introduce the benefits, what is for their athletes, you got to think that people start to listen at some point.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's actually a
they
good
do. They
that's
do.
actually a
Yeah.
good tie-in to my next question because I know also in 2019 you started working together with the EuroLeague team Alba Berlin. How did that start? Did you have to approach them and convince them like, hey, this is a good thing, or did they come to you?
No, it was like I was always at the games anyways. Like I
Mhm.
love sports, I love basketball, and I had some friends in the team. So they were coming to my office anyways, and then they reached out to me and said, "Hey, can't we do collaboration? Like you know the team, and we know you, we trust you. Can we find a way?" And that's, yeah, how it started.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Does
super cool.
Alba Berlin have a tooth saving box?
They do.
Okay. Do they
They
have
do.
multiple?
We even had one case where someone lost their tooth. I was not the dentist then, but I knew this person, so I
Mhm.
could help. But yeah, I think in Germany, more and more clubs do have it. We also, like our association here, had also some lectures for orthopedists, where we said them, this is important, have this in your kit. But in the States, it's super rare still.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, you would think that in the States they have everything kind of advanced technology, uh, physio stuff,
They
and if
do
it's
have a lot of advanced things, but this is missing.
okay, good, good to know. So when you go to games, are you there as a spectator or are you there as like watching like, ooh, that elbow came close, or
Yeah,
like, are you kind of like on the edge?
to be honest, like um I can't, like, I'm always like when they get an elbow, I'm like, did something happen? Like I'm getting like nervous, but I'm a spectator. Like I just try to enjoy the game and relax and stop thinking and just be in the moment. But of course, because of, yeah, when you're a dentist, you can't really stop thinking about that. You're like, he wears his mouth guard. Why does the other one didn't wear his mouth guard? Is something wrong? And then after the game, I'm like, hey, why didn't you wear your mouth guard? Like, is something annoying? Do we need to adjust or whatever? Like, I'm taking care of these things. Yeah.
Have you ever had to run on the floor, put your dentist
No,
cape on, and go save a tooth? Have you ever had to do that yet?
no, not
Okay,
yet,
let's
and I hope it doesn't
I
happen.
was just going to say, let's hope that that does not happen.
Yeah.
But I hope if it does, let's say it, hope it doesn't, but if it does, I hope I'm at that game so I'm like, I know her, I know her.
Yeah, yeah.
um, if you could give one game-changing tip to an athlete that would help them protect their teeth, what would it be?
Oh, one, this is so
One. You get
not easy.
one.
Like one is do your checkups. This is like
Okay.
maybe the most
Mhm.
important thing because I feel like athletes change so often their workplace, and so they kind of don't arrange their doctor appointments. It's mostly the club where they
Right.
are, and they get a checkup before they sign a contract or like the health checkup. But these are not often part of it,
Mhm.
nearly never.
Mhm.
So no matter where you are, do your checkup and your dental cleaning at least. Like, so even if it's not a sports dentist,
Mhm.
it's the first step, I think.
Mhm. And what would you say to a team if you go to them and introduce yourself and say, hey, this is what we do. Um, what would you tell them? What would you, how would you explain the benefits to them?
I think it's super important that they know about, like, there is statistic, it's like all evidence based, it's nothing I make up, like there is an evidence between the connection of gum inflammation, silent inflammation, and performance. Silent inflammation in the gum and injury risk.
Mhm.
Silent inflammation in the gum and longer time to recover. Yeah, and these are all things which are super important that the club is aware of it, and that they help the athletes to get this done because it's so easy.
Mhm.
They just come to a checkup, they do a cleaning, they just take care of flossing, and then it's done.
Mhm.
And but if they don't take care of it at the end, it's even like it costs them a lot of money because the player can't play. They maybe have to hire a new one or whatever. Or the second thing is also health, like for the athletes,
Overall
it's
health.
the overall health. It's super, super important. And it's also like you have to think that the mouse is like the entry point for pathogens, like for germs and bacteria. So if there is an inflammation, they the immune system can't really work effectively.
Mhm.
Usually it starts already. So they get sick more often, and they already demand so much from their bodies,
Right.
like with all the traveling and all the cortisol level, adrenaline level, they can't really have a good recovering sleep sometimes because they're still so excited. So their immune system already is not working as for other people.
Mhm.
So it's super important to take care of these things to, yeah, to be more effective and yeah, to help their immune system as well.
Where
um,
do you, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and the second thing is, I just mentioned this, like sleep is very important, and therefore, for example, I always say in a night guard is also important.
Mhm.
Yeah, for a more relaxed sleep, for when they're grinding. A lot of athletes grind because the adrenaline level is so high, they need to process things in the night, that this protects the muscles and also the tooth animal from like being overused,
Mhm.
so they can have a more relaxed sleep, but at the same time they also um, to save their animal level, and which is super important for their bite. So with the acidic drinks and with the grinding, you lose like your animal level, which changes your bite. And this, as I explained, has an effect on your jaw joints and on your jaw muscles and on the whole body.
Wow. That's crazy. Where do you see sports dentistry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? Are there anything new innovations or things like that that you can see in the future? What would probably help athletes as well?
Yeah, I think first of all, the awareness is
Mhm.
changing, and I think sports dentistry will be a part of the doctor teams
Mhm.
soon.
Mhm.
In soccer and basketball and all kind of sports. It's already part of the Olympic Games, which is important. Then the second thing is we are getting better in really measuring things with the help of different kind of electrolytes. So we can put in some, I just say device because it would be too yeah,
Complicated.
too
Yeah.
complicated to explain that. But we have a special device which helps us to find the perfect jaw position, for example, for a mouse guard. And if the athletes wear this mouse guard with this perfect jaw position, we can help them to improve their proprioception. Proprioception is your body knowing where you are in the room. Yeah. So usually we have our eyes. This is our
Right.
first system. They give our brain the information where we are and how we move. But the bite is the second one. A lot of people don't know it. And if the bite isn't perfect, the feedback to the brain between eye and bite is not really matching. And then it takes some extra seconds. We don't even feel it, but to match them and to sense where they are in the room. But if we do the perfect bite for the mouse guards, they can have a better performance. They can have a better feeling for the room where they are, the movements they do, and yeah, their motion will be easier. So
More
that's what
fluid.
I do. In the off season, I have this device in my office. It takes like an hour and a half to do the measurements. I always have a physio with me who first like works on the muscles so that they're not tight, that they're relaxed. So
Wow.
we have a good results, and then we do the measurements, and then we do the mouse guards with the perfect position for the jaw muscles, which is the perfect yeah, information for the brain where they are in the room, and how they can throw a ball, or how can like they like move their body. And the second thing is this position is also more relaxing for the rest of the muscles, from the jaw muscles to the neck muscles area to the back and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're
So
right now. I have to say, you're making me want to come right now to your office, get my perfect jaw thing, so I can get a mouthpiece and start pooping again.
so it really makes an effect. Like we have video where some of the athletes, they can't like move their arms, but then they wear the mouse guard with the perfect bite, and then all of a sudden they can fully
Wow.
move their arm. The same with the leg. It's incredible. The results are incredible. And yeah, it's just that people need to be aware that the whole body is connected, and you really have to look at the whole person. It's not just one tooth. There's a whole person hanging on that tooth, you know? That's how we look at it as sports dentists.
That's crazy. If you were not fixing teeth, what role would you have in a basketball club? Would you be a ref? Would you be a GM? Would you be a coach? Would you be a player? What would you be doing in a
I
club
think
if you were not
I would
fixing?
be a GM probably.
Really?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
like to be in
not on the
charge. You like
business side.
to choose the players and handle the money.
Yeah, yeah. Like more the business side, I think,
Okay.
because I've done that. Yeah, player would be nice too, but to be honest, for me, it would be challenging to change the place
Yeah.
so often, you know, the cities. This
Mhm.
would be challenging. And I'm also someone, I don't like to be told what to do. This would be a bit complicated.
Okay. And is there any athlete that you can think of that you've worked with that really took what you told them to heart, that maybe was like really bought into everything that you said and really changed maybe their outlook from the beginning when you first started talking to them to now where they're totally locked in?
Yeah, I had some. Um, like one really, yeah, I don't know. I think there, like a lot of them, they really
Mhm.
were open, listen, and do what I say. And one of them really also started to look for YouTube videos where they can dive more into that. And then they were sending me this, and they were like, "Hey, Aylin, I saw that. Did you know that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know that." And then we were like sharing some YouTube videos about that, which was nice that that he was so interested into this field. But I think in general, athletes, they really are so aware of their body, and they're open to become better in everything they do, and especially when regarding health. So I really and knock on wood, had good experience. Like there was never a person who said like, I don't care, I don't listen. And this was never the case. So yeah.
That probably has to do with your professionalism, your technique, your how you talk to them as well.
Yeah, probably yes.
Um,
Thank you.
so you played handball. That's a pretty physical sport.
Yes.
So when you were an active player, did you also experience knocks to your teeth where you were like, "Ooh, I better go to the dentist"?
Um, yes, I before I played handball, I played soccer, and I broke my tooth here. It happened at soccer, so I experienced this myself, to be honest. But this was not the reason why I specialized in it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you
but I
always
experienced that.
did you always want to be a dentist, or did you want to do something else before you decided to be a dentist?
Um, since I'm 4 or 5, I wanted to
Wow.
become a dentist.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, like for a very long time. In between, I was like thinking about going into politics,
Mhm.
but it was always like my second plan. My first plan
Mhm.
was always dentistry,
Mhm.
and yeah, so I'm happy that I could make it.
That's cool. That's cool that you had that idea at such a young age and were able to follow through with it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've got one more
Yes.
question for you. If you could give athletes one superpower, stronger teeth, instant cavity healing, or unbreakable mouth guards, what would you give them?
Okay. Stronger teeth,
Mhm.
or the second one is?
Stronger teeth, instant cavity healing, or unbreakable mouth guards, or something else that you would give.
Stronger teeth, because when they're strong,
Mhm.
you don't have a big injury risk. Then maybe the mouse guard can,
Right,
yeah, it's not that important then if they're
right.
so strong that never something happens. And also a cavity would not happen that fast then.
Mhm.
So let's say stronger teeth, and
Okay.
we have everything in it.
Okay, good. So that is my last question, but I have one request. So
Hmm.
always at the end of my show, I always ask the guest who would they nominate to come on this show. It can be an athlete, it can be another dentist, it could be a radio host, but I would like it to be someone in the basketball world, somehow connected to the basketball world. And so now I'm asking you to nominate someone, but with this nomination, you also have to help me get this person if I am not already following them or something like that. So it has to be someone that you know that you can hit up and say, hey, you should go on this show.
Hmm. Um, I would say Alex King. It's a friend of mine.
Okay.
He has his own podcast
Okay.
too, but he played for Alba. He's
I
now a
know.
coach, and he
Yeah.
knows so much. And yeah,
Okay.
I think he would
Okay.
be perfect.
So what you're going to do is you are going to hit up Alex. I will hit him up after you do. And because if I write him, it'll
Good
probably go through
tactic.
his junk Instagram mail and DMs, and he probably won't see it. So you have to hit him up first and say, "Hey, this guy's gonna hit you up," and then
Okay.
I will hit him up, and then we'll try to get him on the show.
Okay, I will do that.
That's a very good recommendation, by the way. I
Yeah.
can I can rock with that.
Okay. I will talk to him.
Okay.
He's the best.
So that's all I
Perfect.
have for you tonight. I really appreciate you coming on and explaining. I mean, I'm totally blown away from the information that you provided. Like I said, if I wasn't 52 years old, 51 years old, I would probably go come get a mouth guard made by you with the
But
perfect set for my jawline and get back into the business. But I'm a little bit too old for that. But I come to Berlin often, so maybe I'll stop by and let you peek into
Yeah,
my,
and you can take care of as a coach that your
yes,
players get their
yes,
checkups and
yes,
be
I
more
would, I
aware of
would
it and
definitely do that.
get this box.
I would
This is
definitely
important. I will send you
do
the
that.
link.
I'll do that. So,
Great.
thank you so much for coming on, and I really appreciate the information you provided, and I hope the people out there learn something. That's part of what I do, and that the people learn something and walk away with something that they didn't know before. So, I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening and coming on. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye
Have
bye.
a good night. Bye bye.
So, everyone, I learned a lot tonight. Like, I really think if I wasn't as old as I am, I think I might want to suit up, but I'm too old now, so I'm not doing that. But I will definitely look at my teeth a little bit differently and the health of my teeth differently. And as an athlete, for those of you that are athletes, the connection between a healthy mouth and the rest of your body is statistically proven. I did know that, but not to the extent of what she explained tonight. So I'm really appreciative that she came on and told her story and also the things that modern medicine can do to help players. I mean, the tooth box is crazy. Like, that's crazy for me. So yeah, I'm glad she was on, and I am done for the evening. Thank you for those of you that stopped through, whether you were here for 1 minute or the 36 minutes that we've been on until now. And I hope to see those of you that would like to come back next week. I think next week I have two guests. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's it for me. I hope all is well wherever you are in the world, and that I'll see you again soon. Old head out.